All right, now some of you may already know that traditionally what I do every single year in the spring is I will take whatever camp that I've got back here and I'll completely annihilate it. I'll break it down and take everything back to completely natural, kind of with the leave no trace mentality. Take it back down to the way it would have been had I never been back here. And usually once I get that accomplished, I start over every single year and I build a new camp. However, this lean-to I've had up for several years. It's been, I think this is the third year, would be if I allowed it to stay up for the summer. And this lean-to has been through hell. It's been through 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's been through severe thunderstorms. It's been through tornado warnings. You know, thunder, lightning, rain, hail, sleet, driving snow, blizzard conditions, whiteout, you name it. This shelter has weathered every bit of that. Now, normally, of course, you wouldn't want to tear something like this down if it is really genuinely performing that well for you. But I kind of have an advantage of this is a camp situation. It's not a survival situation. Now, if I were having to survive for some reason and my shelter were performing as well as this one has, I would absolutely leave it up. I would not make any changes that I did not have to make. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it, right? But since that is very much not the case here, I'm going to go ahead and do what I usually do anyway, every single spring. And this really good shelter here is getting tore out. Wow, you guys hear the wind? This is what I deal with all the time in Kansas. There's nothing to stop it, nothing to block it, and it's terrible. That's why I don't put out a whole lot of videos, because some days you just can't hear a damn thing I'm saying. Anyway, it's been a really good shelter. It's been an honor to spend a lot of time out here under it. It has served me well, but I'm going to break it down, and the parts of this shelter, such as these supports, that's all getting recycled. I'm going to use those for other projects. This is the closest thing I can find to straight poles, because the trees here are absolute garbage. Okay, there is nothing here that is really straight for you to use for ridge poles and such like that. It's all just really gnarly and wavy. We don't have a lot of straight woods where I live. So these are pretty much as good as it's going to get. So these will be saved. They will not be cut down. They will not go on a campfire. I will reuse them for other projects. I do have a build coming up where I'm going to go with more of a primitive shelter option, and some of this are going to be ridge poles and such like that for that project. So anyway, I'm going to get started on my deconstruction, guys, and I'll be right back. Alright, as you can see, I've got my top off, and there's not much to it. It literally is just a few sticks, and it's held up well for 3 years. Well, 2.5. Would be 3, like I said before, if I let it go all season for this summer season and into fall. It would have been 3 years. So anyway, I'm going to get the rest of the frame broke down. And like I said, this is all going to be reused, recycled for other projects. So we'll get this all emptied out here. Be right back. Alright, now my cordage is all cut. Just a couple of quick cuts with the SRK, and ready to start taking down poles. Now, I have photographs somewhere. I was looking for it, but I haven't found it yet. But I do have a photograph somewhere of me standing on top of this. That's how solid it was. At the time, I weighed 230 pounds, and I was standing on this pole. As you can see, it's got a little give, but it's solid. I've lost weight. I went from 234, I'm now 198. But still, as you can see, it was a very solid shelter for a throw together with some cordage and a poly tarp. ridge pole, that's everything on a primitive shelter, guys. A ridge pole, that's your bread and butter. Now get all this moved out and stacked up neat. And like I said, this is all good material for me, so I'm going to reuse every single bit of this that I can for other projects. These poles will be put away, and every bit of it will be used for something else constructive. It's not going to go in a burn pile or end up in my firewood supply. Alright, be right back with you guys. I'm going to get this mess cleaned up. Alright guys, hopefully you can still hear me. Wind's picking up. Always picks up a little bit before the sun goes down, and then it'll calm down nicely later. But anyway, this is what I'm left with. It's not a big area. Like I've told you guys in previous videos, I don't have much space back here. This whole area, what's actually usable, is probably here, not even 20 by 20. Now, I did have more space, but as you can see, my soft cabin, like I call it, my soft storage shed there that's got all my gear, my kit, my cot, everything else that I've been overwintering in and spending a lot of time in, that's back here, and that's 8 by 8, so that takes up quite a large footprint. Usually the place that my soft shed is in, I put my Gazelle gazebo up out here. I think there's a couple of videos here on the channel with the gazebo up right exactly where that shed is now. Now that shed is going to get left up through tornado season, so I want to see how it does. What better way to test it out than in, tornado warnings and hail and all that good stuff. So anyway, like I said, tearing out, starting over. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. I may not even actually build anything really outlandish back here. I may just decide that I'm going ultralight from now on. Tarps, 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 more tarps, rain canopies, different brands, different sizes, different materials, things like that. I may go the ultralight route and try that for a while and see how that's going to work out for me. Only problem is, a lot of my canopies are 10 by 10, so they're fairly large. I don't think that I really have enough area back here because of the trees that are standing, namely this one here. I don't think that I actually have the room to put anything up like that up high. The two trees that the hammock was suspended from and that the lean-to bridged are only about 8 feet apart. My tarps are 10 by 10, 10 by 12, well, my rain flies I should say. I have poly tarps too, and by all means, those do have their place, and they are handy. My wife and I have slept under many, many $5 Walmart poly tarps in less than ideal conditions, and always been just fine. So anyway, thanks a lot guys for watching me destroy what I worked really hard to build and what has performed really, really well for me. Don't forget, if you haven't yet and you'd like to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscription button. And if you'd like notifications when I upload future videos, hit notifications and select all. Questions, comments, drop those down below. I'll always get back to you guys. And I thank you very, very much for your views and for your support. And whatever I decide I'm going to do back here, if I do anything here at all, instead of moving out into the new area that's more out in the open, whatever I do, those videos are coming up to the channel as well. So thank you guys very, very much, and I'll see you on the next one.